I know somebody, I don't know, we talked a little bit about the cost of the bond, and I wanted to kind of hit on that real quick because I know everybody wants to hear a dollar amount. So when you, just like when you go and you buy a car, we talked a little about pre-approval earlier in this, but just when you go to buy a car, a house, or a boat, everything is dependent on your credit report. So when you think about interest in that, what your interest rate's going to be in that circumstance, that's pretty much how, that's the exact way they figure out your bond premium. So it's not just off your credit report, it's off everything else that you see on that checklist, but that's the way they determine that. So there is no, because of the industry as new as it is, and there is no set percentage fee that they come out with standard across the board. Everybody is going to be different. Just like if you guys both bought a car, y'all would totally get different interest rates. And that's exactly how the price is going to be on it.
But is it running around 10%? Nobody knows.
We've seen them lower than that. We've seen them higher than that.
We'll give you the range, and it won't help you.
Yeah, because we didn't.
1 to 15.
Yeah, so that's what we.
And that's percentage of the total bond. So if you that $500,000 performance bond, the cost for that, the bond premium of that would be 1 to 15%. And I know that doesn't help anybody. That's a huge range. It's a lot of dollars.
That's why we didn't want to throw out a cliche percentage, because everybody is going to be, you know, he might end up being 1.5%, and he could very well end up being 9%. Okay, so you just won't ever know. It's solely based on the strength of you and your partners.
So on the 1 to 15%, are we talking about for the $500,000 bond or the $1 million bond?
I'm talking about the actual performance bond, the $500,000 bond. The initial bond, which is really just a pre-approval, it's a language. There's a language issue there. We've talked to Joel about that. We understand that there's things we're going to have to clean up on that to make it work from what's in the requirements now and work to bond underwriters. But the $1 million is that pre-approval. So you go through the process, you'll get pre-approved for the $1 million, but when you get accepted, you only have to get a performance bond for $500,000, and that's when you pay the 1 to 15% of the $500,000.
So there's only one premium.
There's only one bond.
There may be fees associated with the initial pre-approval process, because that's when the underwriter's really doing all the work. So they don't want to do all the work, you don't get approved, and they're sitting there and they put hours and hours and hours of time, and they didn't get anything. So there could be fees.
Some kind of handling fee may be associated
What's
with it.
the range of those?
Right now, I guess we're hearing anywhere from 2 to 1,500, 200 to 1,500. The thing, the advantage for you guys is that when you work with a specialist, you work with somebody that can leverage different bonding companies against each other, and then they kind of say, hey, well, this company's going to do this rate, and give them this rate, and then you can kind of go back and say, hey, well, this company's proposing to do this. I'm going to start, I have 3 or 4 of these things. I'm going to move them over here. So that's the ultimate advantage of working with a broker, is we'll focus on leveraging business, and that in turn is when the bond is actually goes into performance. At that point, you already know what the bond premium is, and you will have terms and conditions of the bond as well. Now, I didn't say this in the presentation. If the surety has to recoup money, or has to give any money to the state, if the surety has to kick in for any reason, the surety is going to come after you as the business owner. Now, on the bond form, we will know what triggers that. We do not know what triggers that yet. Okay, we don't know if bankruptcy triggers that. We don't. There's quite a few different things that can actually be the trigger mechanism, and we're hoping to see that on the bond form. That's kind of. Does that make sense to everybody?
That's just like when a construction company doesn't complete a project on time, doesn't get the project done the way they said they were going to. That surety company kicks in. They pay the owner of the land, the owner of the building, whoever the other third party was. They pay them, and then they turn around and go after the person who applied for the bond.
Unless it's Jake Files.
It's not insurance. I think that was on the first slide. This is not bonds and insurance are 2 totally different things.
This is a
bonds
financial
are financial
mechanism.
instruments. Insurance is insurance. It's different.
So when you're talking about being a broker, are you saying that you will help facilitate getting the license?
We are saying that, and we think from our experience.
So they can get the bond.
Do what?
Not, we will facilitate in getting the bond.
Okay.
Okay,
But
so-
we can go to market several different bond underwriting companies.
And just the bonds.
And get the bonds.
Not the actual application. The only thing we are insurance and bond professionals. We are not medical marijuana application professionals, okay? I suggest anything on that, get a consultant. Yes.
All right, number 7 on your checklist
Okay.